Let's ask a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Democrat Chris Coons, senator from Delaware. Good to see you, Senator.
Good to be on with you, Chris. It's been quite a day here in the Senate.
Every day is a month's worth of drama. So let's start with what just happened. The Republicans voted to end cloture, but none voted to raise the debt ceiling. They left that to the Democrats, and you passed it on a party line vote, 50-48. I don't know what happened to the other two. What does that tell you about your future?
It means, unfortunately, that we will be right back here in 2 months needing another vote configured exactly like tonight's vote in order to raise or suspend the debt ceiling going forward. Chris, I frankly think part of what happened was that Mitch McConnell became convinced he was playing this dangerous game of chicken too close to the line, and there was a lot of passion in the Democratic caucus about simply ending the rule that requires a 60-vote margin for the debt ceiling, and so, frankly, he caved.
Why would he believe that, Senator, when he knows Joe Manchin wouldn't do it?
I suspect that he had a conversation with Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema where they expressed alarm, concern, and possibly even willingness to change that rule. I don't know. I wasn't in the room. But my sense is that's what ultimately moved him to act. Here's what it gets us, Chris.
Please.
2 months when we can focus on passing President Biden's Build Back Better agenda. 2 months when we can come to an agreement about how to get the bipartisan infrastructure bill and how to get this critical, I hope, more than $2 trillion package of investments in elder care, daycare, child care, early childhood support, making health care less expensive, providing a tax cut to America's middle class, and making it all paid for by ensuring that the wealthiest Americans and our most profitable companies pay their fair share. That's roughly the Build Back Better agenda that we hope to get through the House and Senate and to the president's desk, including some robust action on climate. We now have the time and the space to finish those negotiations and get that done before we have to turn to our end-of-year appropriations, continuing to pay for the government to stay open, and another vote on the debt ceiling. I hope we take this window and get this work done.
Small point, and then two big points. The small point, we had heard that you were trying to get it done by the end of October. Do you think that's unreasonable?
It's possible. That's when the surface transportation bill expires. And so it would make sense for us to finish the work on Build Back Better and on the infrastructure bill and get them to the president's desk. But frankly, it means we've got two members of my caucus who need to be really clear about what they're willing to support and not, and then let our committee chairs get to work right-sizing this bill to fit within the agenda of what we're going to be able to pass.
Statement against interest. I want to know every detail of how you guys talk amongst yourselves and the internecine strife and the haggling. However, tactically, is there any lesson being learned in the Democratic fold about how bad this looks that you guys can't make a deal with yourselves?
Yes, I think it's very clear within our caucus that we have the pen, we have the opportunity to take bold action that's going to help tens of millions of American families. And the fact that it's been dragging on for weeks and that there are some internal disagreements about how big the package should be and how bold it can be distracts from the fact that folks are eager for us to get it done and to move forward. The elements of this plan are widely popular. Polling shows that the American people think we should invest in things like paid family leave, high-quality daycare, reducing the cost of health care, making it easier for folks to get back to work and for families to afford the things that keep them up at night. So we need to get busy and get this done, but we have a few key disagreements we need to get past first.
I had a caller on my radio say to me, only the Democrats would fight with themselves to not get done something that American people from both sides of the aisle want done. Let that be a clue to you. Now, one other big policy issue in terms of getting this done. What's coming out from the former president and his people and that rebuttal to the Senate Judiciary report, that has one clear message. We don't care, and we are on board with the big lie. while you guys are arguing over, how much money to put in this plan, how worried are you that your midterm elections are marred before they begin? That any race that they don't like, they'll say is rigged, and half the country is ready to believe it.
Chris, that's one of the ways in which I see our democracy steadily being undermined from within, is by Republicans who know better being willing to stay on board with President Trump, former President Trump's big lie about the 2020 election. Look, even Bill Barr, his incredibly loyal former Attorney General, has in print said that he knew that the claims of fraud in the election were BS. And what you're seeing today in this report from the Senate Judiciary Committee is that President Trump didn't try to inappropriately muscle the acting leader of the Department of Justice into buying into his fraud claims about the election once, not twice, not 3 times, 9 times. And if it hadn't been for a few folks like Pat Cipollone who refused to go along with this, we might have had a different outcome. We came very, very close to a terrible and tragic outcome in the election in 2020. And you're absolutely right, Chris. The midterms in 2022, I think we will see false claims of election fraud widespread throughout the country. That undermines the strength of our elections and the credibility of our democracy.
Senator Chris Coons, thank you very much for giving us insight into the goings-on and the people's business. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris.